sitting here having a coffee. And I think this will be actually the... Oh, God, such a fluffy hair today. What happens when you wash it? Stay dirty. After posting my videos and doing everything, I think I want to make this the next episode. So, having a coffee, let's have a chat. So, a lot of the times when we are around, let's say what this episode is going to be is how to find the right contractor. So, a lot of the times when we are going around to our sites, we're doing quotes, a lot of the time we are actually fixing the mess of previous contractors. Now, I always say this, and I always maintain this, that there are many ways to fix something, but there is only a select amount of right ways to fix something. So, when we are doing this, it's a route that we've taken for many, many years. It's routes that we've failed. Not these routes, but we failed on some of the routes. The best lessons learned are the most expensive lessons. And we've changed it and we've perfected it, and every now and then we still have a bit of a fail, but we have to go back. We guarantee our work. But I think what I want to really get down to is I'm blabbering on here, the whole thing of choosing a contractor. So in my videos, and one that we've just recently posted, there's quite a problem on a client's site, and there has been a problem. We've been working there for a very long time, and he's spent a lot of money with us trying to correct previous construction problems and engineering problems. And now the recent one is that he had a concrete balcony. They built a basin. I have no idea why they did this. And then instead of having a drainage port for the water, they built a basin with a brick wall and then the drainage next door to it. So it's filling stagnant water up, and this is grey water, and the water is bad. It looks almost toxic, and it's causing the animals to have allergic reactions, and now the client's worried about the kids, and understandably so. So this was from an engineer. So I think when one is choosing a contractor, there are certain steps that you take. So number one, your first step is recommendations are the best, is to ask around. After your recommendations have been met, you've got a few people, your next step to move on to is Google reviews. You will then have a look on Google and see the reviews. Now, it is human nature to look for the negative in everything, which is it's a bonus and it's a positive on its own, but one must take the good with the bad. Look at clients' reviews. Sometimes clients are just upset because it maybe cost them a little bit too much or took too long, and then they go out there and they've got a vendetta against the contractor. So one must take all of these into consideration. Once you've got your select few down from your Google reviews, which is preferably 3, then it is basically the interview process. You will get them in, you will explain the issue and the predicament you sit in, or what you want. They will then give you the 2 cents what they have, and then they must provide you with quotations. Now, the one thing when a quotation is provided to you, do not accept a quotation that is like X amount to fix your house. That's not going to work. It doesn't have to be line item. It doesn't have to be separated. I myself, when I quote, I only give one final price. It's because the business that I'm in, the trade that I'm in, is a very cutthroat trade. And when I start line iteming, other people might get hold of that. Then they know how to undercut me. But the most important thing is that the quote has to be as transparent as possible. step to step, size to size, so that you know what you're looking for. Not saying that you need to be the foreman, but at least you know what will be done on a broader aspect. Then comes the most vitally important part. And yes, this is going to be a negative to contractors who have just started out their business. But when working on big scale jobs like we are doing here in Scarborough, and we are having to restructure people's balconies, always don't go for the recommendation that that gentleman or that lady, whoever it may be, has just completed. You want references from 5 years back, because those are the people that you want to talk to. You want to see if the job is still going well, how it was obviously when it was going. Again, remember, ups and downs. I always say to my clients, I want you to be, if you are a reference, be honest. Be honest with clients. And if I took a little bit long, the client will say, but you took a little bit long. I can have an understanding, we can have a conversation, but always take the good with the bad. But you mainly want to go 5 years minimum behind, especially when it comes to advanced damp proofing and it comes to painting, and you want to have a look at it, and you can say to them, how's your paint looking now? Have you had any leaks in the past 3 years? Have you had any leaks in the past 5 years? You know, that is how it's going. And as a contractor, it is my responsibility to continually contact my clients and continually find out how things are, and continue to ask, can I have a reference? So, you know, in South Africa, we've got a POPI Act where we have to get signed from our clients that they agree with us to share their information with other clients and so on. But that is how you as a customer should be doing it. It's doing your homework. And unfortunately, our trade is full of unscrupulous people. We in our country call them Bucky Brigades. Challenge me on my YouTube, I couldn't care less. You know, they come across, they do absolutely substandard work, and then when they're gone in a year's time, when something goes wrong, the phone number's off, they're nowhere to be found, and your money's gone down the drain. And this is what's happened similar to a client over here where I am. So, I mean, the best thing is to do the biggest amounts of research that you possibly can. And if the contractor starts getting a little bit upset that you're asking so many questions and that you are trying to investigate the type of work that he does, I suggest that you go on to someone else. Because if a contractor is not willing to put the time and the effort into assisting you, find out if he is above board. Then it's not worth it. You know, this isn't, you know, back in the days, I always say that it's quite an often thing. We used to use word of mouth, and word of mouth was such an amazing thing. It really was. You trusted a person based on the promise that came out of their mouth. And unfortunately, in today's times, there is no such thing as that. It's a horrible thing. Our values have dropped in general. I don't want to irritate or piss too many people off here, but there are still a lot of good, amazing people out there that are contractors who are so trustworthy. And you know, the horrible part is those are usually the people you don't hear about. They're quietly working in the background, quietly doing what they need to do, and making sure it gets done properly. But yeah, I mean, I hope this video can just listen to what I say, and if you can, and just research your contractors. Word of mouth to begin with. Google reviews. Get as many as you can from the Google reviews. Get 3 contractors. Those 3 contractors quote. Look at the quotes. It's an elimination process. The person that is the most transparent transparent person that is telling you exactly what they're going to do, and don't put notes into your quotes saying that this will cost you extra, that will cost you extra, this will cost you extra, but I can only no, it must give you a price. It must be an all-inclusive price. And sometimes there is an exception that is made. They'll say, listen, it's going to cost 15,000 rand or whatever. Should we have to go this route, that's a backup budget, keep that in line, which is fine. That's part of it. But and then the most important is, as you would say to them, and tell them before, don't waste their time, tell them before that if they are chosen, you are going to request that you get 3 of their clients that are a minimum of 5 years old. They can go in search of those clients if they want. You want to chat to them. You want to ask them how the work is 5 years later. It's the age-old thing. We've got a paint company here in this country. It's quite amazing. They give a 15-year guarantee, and they've only been open for 10 years. How? A guarantee is only as strong as the person who gives it. And you got to understand that person who's giving it has been around long enough to give it. So if a contractor is coming around and saying, I'll give you 10 years, make sure he's been around for longer than 10 years, and make sure that his clients are all happy still 5 years later after they've been there. But peace out, guys. I hope this has been informative. And this will be the one long-term YouTube video. And as they say, remember, like, subscribe, and follow, please. Catch you guys later.